Right, first time not talking about James Bond in quite a while. Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to Mr. Alright Movie Reviews. Today we are diving into a thrilling comparison that is perfect for fans of political intrigue and journalistic drama. That's right, if you haven't guessed by the title, state of play, the movie or the series, we're taking a look at the 2003 BBC miniseries that caught attention across the pond and inspired the 2009 Hollywood film, which starred some absolute heavyweights like Ben Affleck, Russell Crowe and Helen Mirren. So if you're deciding which one to watch first, or if you've seen one and are curious about the other, stick around because we're breaking down the differences, the similarities and why both are worth your time. This video is going to be about 10 minutes long, so grab a coffee or an energy drink, whatever it is you do to get comfortable, and let's get into it. But not before you leave a like and subscribe.
Are you sure about that?
So first off, let's just start by outlining the key characters who appear in both versions of State of Play, as well as a rough synopsis of the shared plot. At the heart of both stories is journalist Cal McCaffrey, a grizzled, no-nonsense investigative journalist who's equal parts brilliant and messy. In the series, he's played by John Sim, bringing that raw, everyman energy. While in the movie, Russell Crowe steps in with his signature intensity and that unkempt beard that really suits the character's changing state of mind throughout the investigation. Then there is Stephen Collins, the charismatic politician whose life unravels spectacularly. David Morrissey nails the role in the series as a British MP who's charming but deeply flawed. And if you're a Walking Dead fan, then you'll see some of the Governor's key tendencies that Morrissey absolutely nailed in this series. That creepy turnaround, like aggressive look, if you know what I'm on about. Ben Affleck takes on the role in the film and nails it as a US congressman, adding layers of American political polish and vulnerability. And yes, that does mean that the story is set across the pond with our American friends. We can't forget Della though, the sharp, ambitious junior reporter who teams up with Cal to chase down vital leads and act as a more impartial friend at times to Cal, who is tied up with the story. Kelly MacDonald portrays her as Della Smith in the series, all wide-eyed determination mixed with her street smarts, and Rachel McAdams brings her to life as Della Fry in the movie, with that quick wit and on-screen chemistry that sparks off the screen. And rounding out the core crew is the tough-as-nails editor, overseeing the newsroom chaos. Bill Nighy is an unforgettable Cameron Foster in the series, dishing out dry humour and sage advice, while Helen Mirren gender swaps the role as Cameron Lynn in the film, delivering powerhouse lines with her commanding presence.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Don't throw those dewy cub reporter eyes at me, it's nauseating. Fuck you very much.
Pleasure.
Finally, the last of the main characters is Anne Collins, Stephen's wife, who's caught in the emotional crossfire. Polly Walker plays her in the series, with quiet strength and a much stronger role in the story, while Robin Wright brings a steely resolve to the movie counterpart. So now just a quick shared plot synopsis, without major spoilers of course, because you need to experience the twists yourself. Both stories kick off with two seemingly unrelated deaths: a young black teenager gunned down in a drug-related incident, and the shocking fall of a young woman under a train, or in the movie's case a subway, but that's a minor detail. The woman turns out to be Sonia Baker, a research assistant and secret lover to Stephen Collins. As the media frenzy builds, Cal, an old friend of Stephen Collins from college or his early days as an MP, starts digging around for his newspaper. What starts as a personal favour spirals into a web of corruption involving powerful corporations, government contracts and hired guns. It's a classic conspiracy thriller where journalism clashes with politics, ethics get tested and no one's hands are completely clean. The core mystery revolves around why Sonia died and how deep the cover-up goes, blending high-stakes investigations with personal betrayals. The characters in both are fantastic. They have so much depth to them. And moving on to the series itself, the 2003 BBC miniseries, written by Paul Abbott and directed by David Yates, yep, that is the guy who directed Harry Potter, it clocks in at 6-hour-long episodes, giving it way more room to breathe than a standard movie. This extended runtime means it introduces a bunch of additional characters who aren't in the film, and honestly, they add so much depth and complexity to the story. For starters, There's the ensemble at the newspaper, like Dan Foster, played by a young James McAvoy. He's the editor's son and a junior hack who's eager but green, at least according to his father, and he provides great comic relief and some heartfelt moments as he grows into the job. And although he doesn't get a huge role, Pete Chang, played by Benedict Wong, also does well with what he's given. Then there's Helen Prager, a correspondent for Westminster who makes vital links surrounding the government and the newspaper's story. Then you get more fleshed out side players like DCI William Bell, portrayed by Philip Glenister, the gruff detective who's both an ally and a thorn in the journalist's side. I mentioned earlier how Helen Prager connects the newspaper's story with vital details in Westminster, and that is the key bit of beef Glenister's character has with the newspaper, is that they are treating this like a story, whereas DCI William Bell is deeply disturbed by this fact, as he is just trying to solve the horrific crime. His investigations run parallel to Cal's, creating tension and overlapping plot lines that the movie just doesn't have time for. For those who've seen the series Life on Mars, you'll know Glenister and Freeman have a fantastic on-screen dynamic, and it's great to see that originate here in this series. Some other famous faces that you'll see here are Rory McCann, who's in Game of Thrones, Rebecca Ryan, who plays Debbie in Paul Abbott's version of Shameless, as well as Sean Gilder, who played the hilarious Paddy in the very same show. These extra characters aren't just filler, they add impactful layers that are absolutely necessary for that longer TV series format. We get deeper dives into the newsroom dynamics, the ethical dilemmas of sourcing information, and the broader implications of corporate influence on politics. It's really quite realistic. It's like peeling an onion. Each episode reveals more about the conspiracy, but also about the personal toll on everyone involved. The series feels more like a novel come to life, with time for quiet character moments, red herrings, and even some romance that builds organically. If you're a binge watcher who loves getting lost in a world, this mini-series lets the story simmer, making the revelations hit harder because you've invested in all those interconnected lives. I had watched it for the first time last year, and I can't remember exactly when I got the movie, from a charity shop no doubt, but I remember I wanted to leave it a while before I watched it so that the twist still hit as hard. And after I wrapped it up the very same evening last week, I began watching the series and got through the first 3 episodes straight after, and then finished it the following morning. It's just that gripping. But let's flip over to the movie side while we're talking about it. The 2009 film, directed by Kevin MacDonald, condenses all that into a tight 2 hours. And it's fascinating how the first half of the movie plays out almost like a beat-for-beat remake of Series 1, Episode 1. I say that like it has multiple series, but we'll roll with that. Both open with those dual deaths, the shooting and the train incident, setting up the mystery with rapid fire pacing, and we get the initial shock of Stephen's affair being exposed, Cal's reluctant involvement, and the early clues that point to something way bigger. The twist that flips your perception of Sonia's role, well, it's still teased in similar ways, building suspense through interviews, chases, and newsroom banter. But here's the thing. Despite the shorter runtime, the movie doesn't fail to deliver the same punch. It packs an emotional wallop thanks to that A-list cast who brings incredible depth to every scene. Russell Crowe's Cal feels lived in, with real pain behind his eyes from the friendship with Ben Affleck's Stephen, whose breakdown scenes are just as raw and heartbreaking as those done by David Morrissey. Rachel McAdams adds a fun spark as Della, but really, Helen Mirren chews scenery up as the editor under corporate pressure, and her one-liners alone are worth the watch. The film amps up the Hollywood gloss with slick cinematography, a tense score, and action beats like shadowy pursuits that keep the adrenaline pumping. Sure, some subplots get trimmed, like especially the connection between Della and the police, or Cal's much more intense connection with Anne Collins in the series, but it streamlines the story without losing the core thrill, and it's proof that brevity can heighten the impact when you've got stars who convey volume with just a glance. In the end though, neither version is really better than another. They're just different beasts tailored to different viewing styles. The series offers that immersive, character-rich experience for those who just love to marathon episodes and unpack every detail. For me, it's a genuine 10 out of 10 TV series because it just doesn't miss a beat, and as a standalone miniseries, I'm glad it's never been rinsed and remade. The movie delivers a punchy cinematic ride that's perfect for movie night, with star power that makes emotions land hard and fast. This for me is a 9 out of 10 movie. The only thing I think it could have done better was the relationship between Anne and Cal, and I personally would have liked it to have just a bit more runtime to develop that. You see, in the series their relationship creates a lot more tension between Steve and Cal than is really ever present in the film, and it's not massively missed from the film, but I think it would have added just a bit more depth. But whether you're a movie watcher who prefers concise storytelling, a binge watcher craving depth, State of Play in either form is a must watch for everyone. It's smart, timely, and a reminder of why we love stories about truth seekers taking on the powerful. Interesting note, Paul Abbott did also produce the movie, so he really knows what he's doing. And I bet if you look him up, he's probably done something that you also love. But anyway, that's all I've got for today. If you enjoyed this comparison, hit that like button, subscribe for more movie reviews, and drop in the comments, which one did you see first, the series or the movie? Or are you hearing of this for the very first time? Either way, thanks for watching folks, stay alright my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.